Tonight, the Demo Derby Smashdown V8 Extermi-NATION continues. Our last week of positioning before the last bash, the name of our championship event, which will be held next week. Hello, everybody. I'm Keith Avalone from Play Games. Sam is our producer again tonight, and we are down to our top 10 drivers in our Demolition Derby action. Tonight's action goes a long way towards deciding who's going to win the American Demo Derby League Silver Trash Can Award for having the last car running. We have a replica of it here. We'll, of course, properly accoutre it as we send it to you, or send it to the winner, assuming maybe you're going to be the winner if you're one of our 10 drivers watching tonight. We'll crown our champion next week. Tonight, though, we're going to decide who still has a chance at winning the championship. We're going to whittle it down. Last week's action saw Chris Phillips take the top spot, smashing down Davide Brambilla for the win. That gave both guys a much-needed boost in the standings. Chris earned 20 points for finishing first. That rocketed him from 12th place all the way up to 3rd place. Davide got 15 points for finishing second, moving him to 2nd place in the standings. Now, our top driver, Dave Dre from Weston, Connecticut, has a pretty good cushion, and that is going to have an impact on tonight's event, because only drivers who have a shot at winning, overtaking the leader next week, will get a chance to drive in next week's championship derby. So to kind of sort things out, let's take a look at the standings really quickly before we get started. Dave had another strong finish last week. He tied for 3rd with Mark Moe. Each of them got 11.5 points for tying for 3rd. That gives Dave, as you can see, well, it says 46 points. He actually has 46.5 points. A first-place finish is worth 20 points, so it would make sense that only drivers within 20 points of the leader would have a shot to overtake Dave. But it's a little deceptive because that would require the lead driver, in this case Dave, to get 0 points, which only happens if you're the first driver knocked out. So for practical purposes, only drivers within 15 points have a realistic chance to take the lead. So rather than getting bogged down in a bunch of scenarios, here's the bottom line. You have to be within 15 points of the lead at the end of tonight's derby to get invited to the last bash next week. Now, the interesting thing is, it depends on what the point total of the leader is to determine who gets invited. So the lower the point total of the leader, the fewer drivers will get excluded. In other words, if not to get, I said wasn't going to get bogged down, so I won't get bogged down. But for that reason, it makes sense that everybody's going to be gunning for Dave tonight, because the fewer points that the leader has, the more guys are going to get invited to the last bash next week. So we're going to make Dave's number 22 65 Camping King National Sedan the targeted car in his column all night. Basically, everybody's going to try and knock Dave out first to preserve their chances for winning the Silver Trash Can Award. But in the interest of fairness, we're also going to change Dave's moveset so that he will only use move number 4, which is the rollback move, a defensive move, which generally allows him to avoid taking damage in many instances. So part of this event is going to be Dave just trying to survive, because basically, if Dave finishes in 4th place or better, he is pretty much insured of being the points champion. Now, if just for technical purposes, if he loses move number 4, during the event tonight, he'll have to switch back to normal mode. Won't be able to play defensive anymore. And, of course, if he loses any other move and that move is called upon, like if he loses move number 1 and then he rolls a 1, it would be the same as if any other driver had done that. He won't be able to use move 4 in that case. So those are the ground rules for tonight's derby. Our point scheme is the same as it has been in previous weeks. 20 points for first place finish, 15 points for a second place finish, 13 points for a 3rd place finish, 10 points for 4th place, and then it goes down from there. 5 points for 5th, 4 points for 6th, and so on. No points for getting knocked out first tonight, as it has been all series long. As I mentioned before, if Dave Dre finishes 4th place or better, there are not going to be many cars invited to next week's last bash. However, if Dave finishes out of the top 4, could be wide open. We could have all 10 of these drivers back next week to duke it out for the championship Silver Trash Can. So let's head down to the Dot Cola Fairgrounds Arena and get this derby started. Got our starting arrangement all lined up. We're going to go with columns of 3 and 2 until we eliminate a few cars. Got our scoreboard over here, and we are ready to roll. So Mike Perry in the 1960 Ranger wagon for Pro Grip Power Tools is going to go first. We've got our decider die ready. dot side up. And let's get rolling. Mike Perry goes first. 65. That's going to be a skid result. And, of course, I guess I didn't go over the TV grades. No, there were no showdowns last week, so all the driver grades stayed the same. We got Bob Sheehy, the top driver, with a AAA rating. Dave is a B for having lost a showdown a couple weeks ago to Bob Sheehy. Everybody else is an A. All right, so that means Mike is an A. We get a skid result, and that means we're going to roll the die, and it's going to be a 1. Oh, it's going to be a double X. So 2 X's right away on Dave, and now it's Dave's turn. Dave takes the early damage, 23. So that will be normally a bumper blast, but because of our special rules, he will go to the no damage mode. He's trying to evade. And here's Davide, who's going to take a shot at Mike. So 42. And he's going to also do the rollback move. So a couple of guys playing possum there, leaving Mike with nobody to knock off. Here's Chris Bowler as a move to column number 2. In the Buckmobile sedan, 45. That will be external damage to both his vehicle and another vehicle, and that vehicle is going to be Mark Moe with the dot. Nope, it's going to go for Bob Sheehy. Puts an X on Bob, takes some external damage of his own. Right there in the passenger side quarter panel. Here's Mark Moe, 24. That's the bumper blast, and he will take a shot. Well, it could be either of them. We'll give a dot to Chris Bowler. Nope, he's also going for Bob Sheehy. So Bob takes another shot from Mark Moe. And Bob also loses an internal move. He's going to lose the number 6 move. So Bob, who at one time was sitting in first place a couple weeks ago, now in the middle of the pack, loses the waffle iron move. And we go to, let's see if Bob can turn around and do something right back at him. 13. That's going to be external damage and 2 internal and untargeted moves. So we're going to roll the die. Dot, it's Chris Bowler. Nope, he's going to put it on Mark Moe. So Mark takes a big hit right to the trunk, or right to the hood, I should say, to knock out part of that engine mobility, starting to steam a little bit. He's going to lose 2 internal moves on the number 50 Sackway Foods Mayflower Coupe. He's going to lose move number 1 and move number 3. All right, go to the third column. Luke Holman in the Dot Cola 11 Wayfarer Sedan, 31. That is external damage and an internal damage of his own. He's going to lose move number 4. And he's going to put the damage on Steve Tower, who's the only driver in the column. Steve will return the favor, I'm sure. Now he's got a car move. Well, probably. Only 1 damage on the car, so likely we'll get... No, it's going to be an unusual result. So Steve pulls a hard right here. And let's see what happens. 54. An automatic kill. Oh, he just put an automatic kill. Vicious move on Luke Holman. Is out of the Derby. Whoa. See you later, Luke. So Luke gets no points. That was a pretty brutal move by Steve. Of course, he's known for that kind of thing. All right, let's put Luke's 61. Boy, that was a tough shot. Right to the kisser, I guess. Put that car out of commission. So Luke gets no points, leaving him with 28. And he was already in the bottom third, so he's going to have to hope that the leader after tonight's event has fewer... Well, that actually eliminates him because 15 points would be 43, and Dave already has 46. So that's going to be it for Luke. All right, here's Al Wilson. We go to the fourth column. It was a nice run while it lasted, Luke. Thanks for being part of it. And here's Al in the El Presidente, 63. Let's see. It's going to be Al's going to damage his own vehicle, but then put an internal damage on Chris's car. So an external damage for Al's El Presidente, and Chris's Normandy sedan loses move number 3. Chris had a nice run last week. He really made a strong showing. Coming up from 12th place to win the event last week, and then sitting right now in 3rd place. All right, we're going to rearrange our cars. We're now down to 9, so we should have 3 groups of 3. Thanks to Steve Towers' vicious hit on Luke Holman. Here we go. We'll go top to bottom. column 1 to column 3. Mike Perry, Steve Tower, Bob Sheehy, Chris Phillips, Al Wilson, Chris Bowler. Oh, and look at this. I'm not sure. Mark Moe sitting all by himself with two guys playing possum. One of them's Dave Dre. I forget who the other one is. Oh, it's Davide. All right, so Mike Perry goes first. 56. That's going to be a car result. Mike's got no damage on his car, so he's going to put a little quick hit. No, he's going to get an unusual result. Swings that steering wheel around. 52. Oh, flat tire. He's going to lose moves 1 and 3. So Mike Perry's with a flat tire on the 60 Ranger wagon. That's not a good start. He's going to have a little bit less mobility now. Steve Tower, who put the big kill on Luke last turn. So we move to the second minute of action. 62. It's going to be another external damage plus an internal damage to Mike Perry's Ranger wagon, the car with the least damage. So Steve's going to lose move number 3 on the Regal Super Sedan. All right. And here's Bob. 53. Bob Sheehy in the Commuter Sports Coupe for Classic Bank. 53. Let's see. It's going to be an external damage to both he and another vehicle of his choice. It's Mike Perry. Nope, he's going to put it on Steve Tower. So Steve takes a damage. Bob takes a damage. And we move to column number 2. Chris Phillips. 56. That's going to be a car result. No damage on Chris's car yet. No external damage anyway. So that will be a small dent and an external damage to Al Wilson. Nope. Chris Bowler takes the damage. Swings around and puts a little hurt on Chris's Buckmobile. Here's Al. 61. And that will be, it's the big waffle iron move. The dreaded waffle iron triple X. And it goes to the car with the most damage, which happens to be Chris Bowler. That's going to put Chris now with 5 damage. Also loses an internal. Huge hit from Al. And Chris is reeling. He's going to lose move number 4, the rollback move. So no chance to get out of the way. All right, move to column number 3. And flipping over is Dave Dre. He's going to get a shot. Will he try to hide again? Let's see. Okay, so that's going to be a 42, which will be no damage. So he's going to move out of the way. Mark Moe has got nobody to hit. And sneaking up is Davide. 55, right behind him. Bam! That is going to be a skid result. Oh, he might skid right by him. No, he's going to get a damage, internal and external, to Mark Moe. So Mark is going to lose move number 1. Oh, he's already lost it. So that's two strikes on move number 1. And Dave manages to stay out of trouble. We'll rearrange as we move to the third minute of action. Mark is in a little bit of trouble with his internal moves. And Chris has got 5 external damage. So his car's kind of limping along, dragging a fender. And other than that, everybody else is pretty much holding steady. We'll go left to right this time. Davide, Al, Bob, Chris, Mark, Steve, Chris, and this will be Dave, and Mike. So Dave's in a great position. Just kind of trying to ride it out. All right, here's Davide to get it started. 54. That's going to be an external damage to the star car, which will be Chris Phillips. But unfortunately, Davide is going to also take some internal damage in pulling off that move. He's going to lose move number 6. Chris comes back with 21. That's going to be the bumper blast, which will go on Chris Bowler's Buckmobile. That gives him 6. He could be the next one out. That will also, 21. That will also put an internal damage on Chris's Buckmobile. He's going to lose move number 1. So not looking good right now for the bargain mart number 3. Here he comes. 11. Now it doesn't have that move, so he's just going to have to sit there and watch his car leak smoke from underneath the hood. Over to column number 2. Here's Al Wilson. 32. It is the stinger move for well, Dave is in hiding, so Mark is going to take take the shot from Al. He's going to lose 2 internal moves as well, 2 and 6. So Mark is now down to, he's got 5 internal damage. He could be the next one out. One more and he's done. Mark comes back, see if he can pull. No, he doesn't have a reverse smash, and now here comes Dave. Let's see what Dave does. That's going to be move number 4, but it'll be result number 5 with a skid result. So looks like Dave's feeling pretty good now. He's going to do let's see, 1 or 2 is going to put damage on somebody. Nope, 3 is just nothing. So he's going to be unable to put any damage on anybody and is now vulnerable, shall we say. Over to column number 3. There's Bob Sheehy. 43. No damage. So Bob takes a pass. Steve Tower is going to have to go for Mike Perry here, 23, as Bob got out of the way there. 23, and Steve has that move. Oh, but it's the bumper blast backfire. He's going to put 2 damage on his own bumper and lose an internal move. He's going to lose move number 5. So that did not work out very well for Steve. And Mike, with a chance to put a little bit more damage on Steve in the Ranger wagon, 45. That's going to be, all right, so he's going to put a damage on himself and a damage on Steve's Regal Super Sedan. So that will wrap up. I'm sorry, what?
That's 44, isn't it?
44. No,
car number
yeah, right, car number 45. I knocked it. I need somebody to check me, though, because I have been known to get caught up in the moment. All right, so we move to the 3rd minute. That completes the 2nd minute of the action. Actually, so now is that the 3rd minute? I think it's the 3rd minute. Yeah, because I've rearranged these cars twice. So that will wrap up minute number 3. Now I'll go top to bottom. And here we go. Whoa. Al leads off. Chris Bowler, then Mark Moe. Steve Tower, Dave Dre. Debbie Day. Mike. And that's Bob Sheehy, who's lurking. All right, 3rd minute. The 4th minute is underway, and Al's going to lead it off in the El Presidente. 53. That will be XO exclamation point. So an internal damage or to his. There's no targeting symbol, right? Let me just make sure. No targeting symbol. So this, if I roll a dot, Chris Bowler is done. Nope, he's going to put it on Mark Moe instead. Chris Bowler lives to bash another day. So Mark's going to lose another. Oh, actually, that's going to knock Mark out because the internal loss will be his 6th loss. So Mark is finished, and Chris will get a chance to take a shot at Al. All right, so Mark will get 1 point, giving him 30.5. So his magic number is going to be 45. And it doesn't look like, right, so because Dave has already got 46, so that's going to eliminate Mark from next week. Sorry about that, Mark. All right, here's Chris Bowler. As I said, it could be for every car that goes by and it's not Dave Dre, the field is going to get thinner. 61, Chris Bowler, 6, does he have that move? Where's the number 3? Yeah, he does have it's the big waffle iron move. Look at that. He's going to put 3, he manages to get the Buckmobile cranked up, put 3 big damage on Al's El Presidente, and he also loses an internal move as well. Al's going to lose move number 5. Well, that wasn't very nice. Chris is just, it's fight or flight at this point for the Buckmobile with as much external damage as he has. Over to Steve Tower in column number 2, 51. He does not have that move. He's going to have to just sit there, try to get that thing moving. Here's Dave with a chance to put the hurt on him, 46. That's going to be a car move. All right, so Dave's got.
Did you get an O damage on Al when you were doing damage?
There was no O damage on Al. It was a X.
Okay.
Right. I don't believe there was an O damage on Al. Not that particular turn. Unless I'm remembering it wrong. All right, so Dave has got a car move. Let me make sure I've got everything right here. So it's 40. Yes, a car move. Dave's got 2 damage on his car. So 1, 2, or 3 will put a damage on somebody, but if I roll a 4 or 5, it's going to be a stall, and it's a stall. So Dave's National Sedan stalls out. And here's Davide with a chance to get a little damage on Dave or Steve. 32. That will be, it's a stinger move. It's going to put 2 internal damage and an external on the car with the most damage, and that will be Steve. So that will be an external damage on Steve. That's 1, 2, that's 6. And Steve's going to lose 2 internal moves. 5 and 6. That brings Steve to 4 internal damage, and 2 of them are the kamikaze, so he is not looking good at the moment. All right, we move over to column number 3. Mike Perry will have to take the shot at Chris Phillips, 26. Oh, it's a car move. He has 2 external damage, and that is going to be a stall. So it looks like we're going to have 2 stalled vehicles. Mike Perry's 60 Ranger wagon stalls out. And here comes Bob Sheehy. Out from hiding, 34. All right, that's the XO to the car with the most damage. That looks like that's going to be Mike. So an O for Bob, an X for Mike, and nothing else. And here comes Chris Phillips. 66. It's a car result, but Chris only got 1 damage on that vehicle on his Rubicon, the Rubicon Wireless Normandy sedans. So that will be a damage, and let's see who it's going to go to. It could go to either. There's my decider. Mike gets the dot. Yep, he's going to put it on Mike. So Mike's got 4 now, and that will wrap up the 4th minute of the Derby. Go to minute number 5. Got a couple cars on the brink. Actually, the field is really thinning fast. We got 2 cars that are stalled out, and Mark Moe is. I guess Mark's already out. Steve's got 4 internal damage, and we've got a couple with 5 or more external. Let's go left to right this time. Steve, Davide, Dave, Al, Bob, Mike, Chris, and Chris. All right, and this will be the 5th minute of the Derby, or the 6th. Yes, the 6th minute of the Derby. All right, Steve leads it off. 22. He's got that move. It will be a bumper blast. He winds it up. He's going to put it on Chris. That, I think, is going to knock Chris out. Yep, that's going to take Chris out. So Chris is done. Chris Bowler in the Buckmobile takes its 7th external damage. So let's see how that plays for Chris. That will be, let's see, 1st knocked out, 2nd knocked out. Make sure I got the points right here. Yes, 2 points for Chris. Gives him 27. So that is going to eliminate Chris from next week's Big Bash. Sorry, Chris. Chris Bowler from the Bargain Mart number 3 is out of the running. All right. So now we got Al, who's got nobody to hit in his column except Steve, 61. And now, it's the waffle. That's the 2nd time that's going to knock Steve out. The big waffle iron triple X. Bam, baby. So Steve is done. Steve already had 6. That gives him 9 external damage. So they're going to have to tow the Regal Super Sedan from the center of the Dot Cola Fairgrounds Arena. There's not much left of it. So Steve will finish 7th place with 3 points, giving him 32. So he is now out of the running for the Big Bash, right? No, I guess, see, 32 plus 15 is 47. So technically Steve is barely alive. But Dave's going to get some points, so I believe it's academic, really. Here's Davide. Move to column number 2. In the Burger Hut Classic Coupe, 35. It's a skid result. Davide's an A, so he's going to get a single X result. Is it on Bob? Nope, it's on Chris Phillips. Bob Sheehy, who's been kind of slinking around in the 63 Commuter Sport Coupe, 11. reverse smash. He's going to put it on Chris Phillips. Chris is going to get 2 more external damage and lose another internal move, number 5. And here's Chris coming right back, 43. He has that move, but it's a no damage. A little bit late, but that might help him down the road. Here's Dave in the 65 National Sedan from Camping King, 24. Let's see. Oh, we got to see if he can get his car started. This is a big roll here. It starts up. No, he does not get it started. That means Mike Perry could take a clean shot at him. 45. Oh, well, but Mike's got to start up. Let's see if Mike's car starts up. Oh, and it does. 45. So he's got the skid result. And Mike is an A. Oh, it's an unusual result. All right, so here's the unusual result. Mike slips it into reverse. 66. Oh, it's a rare result. Oh, don't you love these? It's a rare result. 42. Oh, okay. So Mike got knocked out by Dave. Questionable tactic. But Mike's going to file a protest after the event. So, oh no. So if I roll a 1, the promoter's going to void the results of the Derby. If I roll a 2, the promoter's going to award driver consolation points, but the results will stand. On any other roll, the promoter's going to do nothing. So we got to save that roll for the very end. So Dave Dre, I have to make a notation of this. So Dave knocks out Mike Perry with a questionable tactic. Mike is going to protest this. And it's going to be, let me just write this result, rare result. Sorry to drag the proceedings down here, but I want to make sure I get it right. So it's rare result number 42. So we're going to roll a die at the end of this. Now, if I roll a 1, the whole thing's going to be voided. If I roll a 2, then Mike's going to get some consolation points. But if I roll anything else, the promoter's going to say, that was no big deal. So we'll save that drama for the end. For now, Mike just got knocked out. So let's see. That will be, he is going to get 4 points, putting him at 22. So that will also mean the end of the line for Mike, because he will not be able to catch Dave. All right, so let's go ahead and shuffle our cards. We're down to 5 cars, and none of the guys that have been eliminated are still in. I guess Steve Tower is technically still possible, and he's holding out hope for that the promoter is going to step in here and do justice, because that just was not right what Dave just did. It was not right. The fans in the stands are looking on. Okay, so we'll go top to bottom this time. All righty. One more car and we'll go down to 1 column. All right, so Al leads it off. 16. And that will be a car result. Al's got 4 damage on his car. Oh, he's going to actually he's going to do some damage to Dave Dre. Gets a little ding on Dave's Camping King sedan. And popping out of hiding is Chris Phillips, who will also take a shot at Dave. 66, if he can pull it off. No, but he doesn't have the waffle iron move. So now Dave will get a chance to move. 33, but he's got to get his car started first. He does. And he does. Dave's Camping King National Sedan is running again. And as we said before, that's going to be a no damage move. So Dave's going to try to limp to the corner of the arena where nobody can get to him. Here's Davide. 52. Let's see. It's going to put the damage on Bob. It's going to be an external and an internal damage on Bob's car. Bob's going to lose move number 5. And also an external and internal damage on Davide's car. So Davide is going to lose move number 2. But he's actually still looking pretty good right now. Here's Bob coming right back at him, 12. And Bob puts 2 X's on Davide and then loses his another internal move. He's going to lose move number 1. All right. And another minute is down. We're in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th, 8th minute now. And we'll go left to right this time. We'll have a 3 and a 2. Davide, Chris, Bob, Al, and there's Dave Dre hiding out. He's going to get a free shot at Chris Phillips. Davide goes first. Oh, wait, hold on a second. 1, 2. I did this wrong. So it'd be actually, because we can't have a column of 1. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Now we're sitting good. So Davide goes first. 62. Does not have the waffle iron. Here's Bob Sheehy. 51. And Bob does not have the kamikaze. So here comes Dave Dre with his choice of hits. If he can pull it off, 25. So it would be a 45. That's a skid result. Dave's a B. So he's got to roll a 1 or a 2. And it's a 5. Oh, he's going to damage his own vehicle. So Dave, in trying to get some extra damage on somebody else, instead wings his own car. So he's got 4 external. And what's he looking like internal? He doesn't have has no internal damage right now, Dave Dre. Over to column number 2, Chris Phillips, 61. Does not have the waffle iron. Al Wilson, 51. Al does not have the kamikaze, so that will be the end of this turn. Cars are just kind of trying to keep it together here. This is what, the 10th minute of the Derby now. I'm going to shuffle the cards up. We'll go top to bottom this time. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, here's Chris going first. 12. He's got that move. It's a double X. So he's going to put 2 external damage on his choice. Dot, it's Al Wilson. Nope, he's going to put it on Davide. That's 5 for Davide, 4 for Al. Unfortunately, Chris is also going to have to take an internal damage. He's going to lose move number 4 for that big hit. Here comes Al. 54. And Al does not have the kamikaze move, so that leaves it up to Davide. 65. Does not have the waffle iron. So Chris gets the shot, and nobody can retaliate. Here's Dave. That will be a no damage move. Does he have? Yeah, because he has all his internal damage. That's going to go to the rollback. So Dave is hiding out. And Bob's got nobody to hit, so that's going to end the turn. And we go to the 11th minute. Dave Dre's still hanging in there. He could win the whole thing tonight. And here we go. Let's go left to right. Chris, Al, Dave. All right, so Chris will go first. 34. Does not have that move. Out pops Dave, trying to get some damage on somebody. 46. That's going to be a car result. Oh, he's got 4 damage. We'd have to roll a 1 to put any damage on anybody. Instead, it's a 6. It's an unusual result. Well, we've had a few of those tonight, haven't we? 12. Oh, his engine light goes on. All right, so Dave's engine light is on. Engine is beginning to smoke in the Campin' King National Sedan. Here comes Bob Sheehy. 35. That will be a skid result. Bob's AAA. And you know who he's going after. Dave Dre. It's a 3. Double X. That's going to put 2 more external damage on the National Sedan. That gives him 6. 1 more and he's done. And here's Al Wilson. Moving to column 2. 32. That is going to be a stinger move that will, I believe, not quite knock out Davide. That gives him 6 external. How about the internal? He's going to take 2 internal. And he's only got 2, so that will keep Davide in the run. He's going to lose move number 3 and move number 2. Davide winds it up, and he's got the reverse smash, and he's going to put it on Al. He's going to put two external damages on Al, and Al's also going to lose an internal move. Move number 5. That's Al's second loss of 5. And that will wrap up the 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, the 12th minute of the Derby. All right, we're almost down to the final 4. Dave Dre's got his engine light on, but he's hanging in there. All right, here we are. Let's go top to bottom. Dave. Oh, Dave's going to go first. Then Al, then Davide. Chris and Bob in the second column. So here's Dave. He's got his engine light on. If he rolls a 1 or a 6, he's done. Oh, Dave is out. His car just died. All right, so Dave will get 5 points for finishing 5th, putting him at 51.5. So 35.5 is the floor you're going to have. So Davide is going to be in. I think everybody's going to be in. Of who's left, this is going to be our final grouping, unless of course the whole thing gets voided, which we're going to find out shortly. And I guess Mike Perry could get some consolation points. There's a possibility of that. Stay tuned. All right, so Al will get a shot at Davide, 15. It's a skid result. Al is a single A. That will put an X. That will knock Davide out. So Davide takes the last hit from Al, and Davide will get 10 points for finishing 4th, putting him at 45 points. That's not bad. 6 points out of first, currently held by Dave. So let's put Davide over here. Al's sitting by himself. Here's Chris, who's going to take a shot at Bob. 12. Double X, that's going to knock Bob out, I believe. 2 X's, yep. X gives him 7, so Bob is out, leaving Chris and Al. All right, so Bob is going to get 13 points for finishing 3rd, putting him at 42, so he meets the 35-point minimum. So we got Al and Chris. We're just going to set them up here. That's who's left. This would be Chris's 2nd win in a row if he were to win this. Definitely a renaissance. All right, so we'll say Al gets to go first. Nope, Chris is going to go first. 1 more external damage, and Chris is our winner. 42. He does not have that move. Al with a chance to get a lick in here, and he does. Oh, it's a car result. And Al's got 6. That's probably not going to work out very well unless I roll a 6. Oh, I rolled a 6. That's an unusual result. Al with the unusual result, 43. Transmission failure. Oh, he's going to lose moves 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that will be his 6th internal move. So Al drops his transmission, and Chris is our winner. Woohoo! All right, so let's see. That will give Al 15 points for finishing 2nd, putting him at 46. And Chris is our winner with 20, putting him at 51. All right, so Dave Dre at 51.5 points is the current leader. Chris is a half point behind at 51. Then comes Al with 46, Davide with 45, Bob Sheehy with 42, and those will be the only people within 15 points of Dave, of Dave, who's our marginal leader. Now let's do that post-derby roll here. So if you recall, midway through the derby, Dave put a questionable hit on Mike Perry's Ranger wagon. Just want to reread the result. Mike was knocked out by Dave's questionable tactic, and so Mike is now filing a protest. If I roll a 1, the derby is voided, and I don't know what we'll do then. I think what we'll do then, I think what we'll do then is we'll just put everybody in it. We'll make next week's finale for all the marbles. But if I roll a 2, we're going to give Mike some extra bonus points. Anything else? Anything else, nothing happens. Here we go. And it's a 1. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Sam is cringing. All right, so the results of this derby have been voided. Oh. Can't believe it. Well, there you saw it right there. Okay, so the promoter said, what can we do? The promoter said it was questionable tactics on Dave's part. So we will just have to rerun it again next week, We'll go with the same points. We'll have to revert to the original point totals from the previous week. It doesn't seem quite fair though, because Dave is the one that did the questionable tactic, and
It must have been too close to call.
yeah, you'd think he should somehow not benefit from this, but he kind of does.
Say whoever wins next week wins the whole thing.
Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. That's actually a good idea. Sam just came up with the idea that we decided it needed to be addressed. So next week's Derby will decide our silver trash can winner, unless we come up with a better idea between now and then. And if so, we'll let you know. So thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate you being here, and we'll see you Thursday night on our regularly scheduled Play Space Live. Until then, Keith Avalon for Play Games saying thanks for being part of the Play Games community.